Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are taking the example of this city creation. In this basically we are talking about 20 percentage error basically. So here basically what we were talking about, that is this story basically. This story basically we generated. So now basically I want to say here, that is, assume that this same story generated to one of the blood group basically. Assume that that is myself blood group only basically. So in this world, in simple language basically I want to say is that basically in this world basically, in this world means this basically, this thing basically I'm talking about. These earthquakes basically which are coming basically, whatever earthquake basically which is coming, see basically this whole earthquake, see basically, just a minute. In Pakistan also earthquake came basically. See basically this was that basically. In Pakistan also earthquake came basically. This earthquake came basically. And this Chile earthquake basically came basically. Just now basically 2.8 earthquake came basically. Pakistan also earthquake came basically. France also earthquake came basically. Few more example we will take basically. Just now basically Chile basically. Chile basically I see where it is basically, just a minute. In which country it is? Just a minute, I will take few more examples. Mexico. Here basically earthquake came basically. The live example of the earthquake basically I am taking. The Peru example basically has came. कहाँ पे Peru? Yeah, this Peru. Lots of people say that it's Peru and lots of people say that it's Peru. Turkey basically also exam earthquake came basically. And Pakistan also we have for the example, and here basically the Chile 2.8 earthquake basically. See basically how basically the jumps is happening, jumping is happening. Just then basically the Philippines also earthquake is coming. Greek, Hawaii, Turkey. Just see basically how the each and every people are jumping. Then basically California also came. Now basically who is jumping? That's it. After this basically no earthquake basically came, right basically. So here basically the thing is basically that whatever earthquake basically comes in the world basically, whatever earthquake basically, whatever earthquake basically that is coming basically, whatever earthquake basically that is coming from this data. Whole world earthquake basically is connected with this data only basically. That is the 22 blood group owner basically, their stories basically are generating the earthquakes. Their story means one blood group basically contains 90 crore people. Two blood group basically contain two blood, second blood group owner basically contain 100 blood group people basically. So there 90 blood groups owner story, sorry, 90 blood groups people story, 90 blood cells group story, 100 blood group story basically, sorry, blood cells people story basically. Like this basically 22 blood groups are there basically. Each are connected with some 50, 100, 20, 300, 200 people, sorry, 300 crore, 400 crore, 500 crore, 600 crore, 700 crore. So like this basically people are basically connected, right? So this all story basically is generating, and due to that story basically the earthquake is happening. This, see basically this Italy earthquake, and this website basically is created by France group. That means this group basically are handling the earthquake system basically. So like this basically the earthquake basically are on working on the base of this data. That is 22 blood groups owner basically, 22 blood groups owner data. And here basically I had taken the example of myself. Basically I assume that basically I am also basically owner of one blood group. In that basically, so that basically it can be easily to explain. Basically it should be easy. Basically from story basically you can easily able to understand the thing. Basically, so here basically I had taken the example of myself. This basically myself story is real. Basically you can see the rejection also. Basically, so like this basically this things basically are there, right? Basically you have saw basically how many resume basically I have sent, how many people basically. So like this basically this story also generated, right? Basically, so now basically one of the person told that basically the blood groups are 22 group 22 people, right? Basically 22 people are the blood group owner. They are basically they're under basically 50 crore, 70 crore, 80 crore, 90 crore like people basically are connected. Their story basically are generating, their stories are affecting to this particular blood groups. According to that basically the doctors are solving the problem, and that basically sometime connects to the earthquake, and sometime basically it's connected to the big earthquake. Basically that type of thing basically are there. So like this basically just now basically we saw that the big level earthquakes. So one of the person told that basically when big level earthquakes comes basically, just now basically any big earthquake is there basically, just a minute. I will see basically is there any big earthquake is there or not basically. Just a minute. What is the big earthquake basically? There is no big earthquake. Then also basically might be there basically in downside basically. Big earthquake. Just a minute. Yeah, red color is there. Somewhere red color also. Yeah, this Tango. And more big earthquake basically is there. No big earthquake is not there basically. That was the only one basically. That was the only big earthquake basically. Let's see, one more big earthquake is there. Philippines 6.2. So this and that Tango Express, Philippines, and this two earthquake was basically there. So that also basically generated from set of stories. Same way basically this story was generated. Same way there also basically was some story was generated. Due to that story basically the earthquake basically came basically. So now basically from this video basically it gets clear that basically how basically earthquakes are getting. For example, in India basically if any earthquakes are coming, then basically just to clear that basically this thing basically has happened basically. So which story is there basically, that basically only Bollywood group basically have the information of the story basically. So now basically this is clear basically, so I will just save this basically, this story basically. So just to explain basically one what actually the earthquake is and how basically it's connected, I had taken my story basically. Same way basically the assume that basically that group who are the owner, that are the 22 people basically, their story also generates like this only basically. According to that story only basically which I explained, according to that the earthquakes happens basically, and that happens basically periodically. That happens periodically. That periodically also basically we have taken the example. So in next video basically we will take one more example of the periodical basically when the earthquake basically comes. In next video basically according to the periodical earthquakes basically when exact time basically exact second basically when the earthquake connects.